Sports today, and in news just coming in, a lot of players in the Indian camp have now tested positive for the coronavirus. Saran, just check if we are live on Sports today or not. Just before I go on air, I thought I'll check uh, as far as our live is concerned or not. For some reason I can't see the. Are we? Okay, so just to update everyone who's joining us, sorry for that. I think we were not getting some clear signal, but now just to reiterate what we are breaking here on Sports Today, that a few players in the Indian camp have tested positive for the coronavirus ahead of the West Indies series. Now, remember the Indian team just a couple of days ago had gathered in Ahmedabad. The players had reached there, and because they had reached there was a mandatory corona test that was done of all the Indian players, and in that test there have been three names that we can confirm: that Shikhar Dhawan, and Ruturaj Gaikwad and Shreyas Iyer, who have been confirmed as far as that they've got coronavirus. We're also awaiting detail of a few other folks who have gone through the test and what their status is at the moment. We believe that it's a mix of certain players as well as a few support staff members that have tested positive for the coronavirus. A lot of people I can see asking me, is the match on or not? As far as we know, the match is on. So the BCCI is going to continue with the match depending on how many players that have tested positive. We first heard 8 and then we heard 6, but then even if it's 8 or 6, because there may be a few support staff members, so there may not be too many players for the Indian team to worry. Remember, you've already announced a big enough squad and also have a few backup players. What we are getting to know that out of that 18 player squad, since you already have a few backup players, the selectors might soon announce a few replacement as well. Now, for those replacements, they need to have a 3-day quarantine period as well, and there is still enough time for that to happen because remember, the first ODI match versus West Indies is going to be played on the 6th, which means you still have about 4 days to go from now. If you were to immediately announce the replacement, they can land in Ahmedabad, then do the 3-day quarantine, and even though it will be very very close, they will have to then play for the team if need be, looking at the balance of the side. A lot of people asking me about the big players. As far as we know, and we tried to confirm that both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are safe. They are not the two names that have tested positive, so that's the other thing that we're getting to know at the moment. So for all you Rohit Sharma fans, Virat Kohli fans, that's one good news that is coming India's way. Which venue people are asking? Well, it's in Ahmedabad. Remember, the ODIs are going to be played versus West Indies. They are in to be played in Ahmedabad, and the Indian team had already reached there yesterday. So now that mandatory test that was performed on the players, from there it's emerged that Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer, and Ruturaj Gaikwad have tested positive. What's interesting is that out of these, two of them are openers. So I think the first thing that the Indian team management will have to look at is who's going to partner Rohit Sharma there, because Ruturaj Gaikwad was going to be your backup, and then remember also KL Rahul, who could have been the other option. KL Rahul is also not playing for the first ODI. Remember, so KL Rahul is not playing the first ODI, which means that your opener option now becomes very, very interesting. Some people may have suggested Venkatesh Iyer's name, but remember, Venkatesh Iyer is not part of the ODI squad. He's only part of the T20 squad. I think, just to let you know, who is it that can open? Ishan Kishan, because remember, Ishan Kishan again is not part of the T20 squad. However, the interesting bit is that they've kept Ishan Kishan in the bubble already. So Ishan is not part of the ODI squad, but he's part of the bubble. They only did it at the last moment because remember, KL Rahul is not playing that first ODI, and your wicket keeper is Rishabh Pant. So just as a backup, just in case there is an injury to Rishabh Pant on the eve of the match and then you don't have anyone to keep the wickets for you, that's why Ishan Kishan was included in this bubble ahead of the ODI series, even though he was not part of the ODI squad. Now, so Ishan being there, I think he provides that option for him to open alongside Rohit Sharma. Now that we're getting to know that both Dhawan and Ruturaj Gaikwad may have tested positive. We're still awaiting on a few names who may have tested positive, or these may not be players. These could be support staff members. So this story is just developing, and we thought that it's best to bring to our viewers what the latest updates as far as that is concerned. So now that changes a lot of things. Again, reiterating, people had asked me whether the series will go ahead or not. What we're getting to hear from the BCCI is that the series will go ahead as planned. So no issues there. Remember, India has a big enough squad depth. They selected also, as I mentioned, Ishan Kishan is already there as a backup wicket keeper. They've extended him to be there, so that's an option. A few people have said Pant to open may not be a bad idea. I mean, I've always advocated Pant as an opener in white ball cricket would be a very, very interesting move. But just because India had too many options as openers, maybe that's something that the Indian team didn't go with. But now that the situation has turned itself like this, sometimes these sort of situations or circumstances become opportunities for a few players. Who knows? It may be an option. Venki as opener, people are saying he's not part of the ODI squad. So he's only part of the T20 squad, which is why you can't have Venkateshwar Iyer as the opener. What you can go in is with Ishan Kishan as the opener. He may even fit into the team. I imagine how it's changed. Here we were making the 11 and saying that, how will someone like Ishan Kishan even fit into a squad even when he plays the T20? He was not even part of the ODI squad. But sometime, situation develops like that forget about not being in the 18-member squad. He may yet be in the 11-member squad that goes ahead and plays that first ODI versus West Indies. Who are the replacements? As soon as we get to know who the replacements are, we'll let you know. But the news at the moment, a few players, we can't tell you exactly number, but a few players from the Indian camp that reached Ahmedabad for the ODI series versus the West Indies have tested positive. We've already given you 3 names, still waiting.
Virat open with Rohit?
Virat opening is another good option. Saransh, our producer, suggests that. Yeah, Virat opening also is a good option, but I think they may go in with Ishan Kishan. I mean, again, this is just a coincidence that they included Ishan as a backup in the ODI team, not being part of the original 18, because KL Rahul has decided, because I believe he has to attend a very important marriage, and so he will not be playing that first ODI, and so they just included Ishan Kishan as a backup wicketkeeper. And as things turn out, you had 2 established openers in Rohit and Shikhar. One of them tests positive. Your backup opener would have been Ruturaj Gaikwad. He tests positive. So you go to someone that would have been the next backup. Even if KL was playing in the middle order, he would have been the next guy you go to. Even him you don't go to. So it's like your third or the fourth option who's just made it into a team, Ishan Kishan. You never know. Sometimes history is written like that. Ishan Kishan opens, smashes 100, and then suddenly is part of the conversation. So that's the big breaking story at the moment that we got for you on Sports Today. If you missed a few details, go back onto the video and see it. We'll keep coming back. Now remember, the under 19 semi-final is on. The Indian team is batting very, very well, inching close to that 250 mark, which I think will be a match-winning total. We'll be back in the mid innings, and I'll see you then. Bye.